Hello students, I hope you are doing well. I just recorded this quick tutorial to give you an overview of Unit 3 and what we are learning in this unit. So in this unit, we are learning to get basic statistics about data. For example, we have a column of student scores. What you usually want to get is the mean score of the whole overall class, right? And the standard deviation. Standard deviation or whether it's good left or right. So be careful of this skewness. Sometimes I often got wrong whether this is good left or right. So you have to watch this video carefully and understand what that means. And in the assignment, you will have opportunity to practice to get these numbers from a histogram. So usually, if it's a numerical value, like a score, then a student score, then usually we use a histogram or a box plot to find the distribution of the data. For example, if I pull up a histogram chart like this, okay, you can see this one is very symmetric, and from the histogram you can see how many people are between 9 and 3. This third bar shows over 20 people, their score is between 9 and 13, right? And the next one shows that there are more people, almost 25 people, their score is between 13 and 17. And this one is almost symmetric, which means the data on the right and the left is almost the same. However, if we look at this one is obviously skewed right. There are more data on the left side, and the tail is on the right side. We say skewed right. So what does this skewed mean? Here, if I have this histogram and there are more bars over here, this represents the student's score between 0 and 100. Skewed left means there are more students have the lower scores, and only a few students have very high scores, which is not a good result compared to another class. Okay, if this class has a symmetric, okay, even though the average could be the same, however, in this class there are more students have lower score, which is not good. Compared to this one, it may skew the left, right? And this one, more students have high scores between 800 and 80 and 100, which is good, which is healthy. So that's what the skewness means. And in the assignment, after you plot the histogram, you remember you are asked to explain that, okay? So don't forget that. Other than histogram, box plot is also often used to see the distribution of the data. However, oftentimes we use it to find the 5 numbers of the data set, which is 25th percentile, median, and 75th percentile. And these whisker means this is 1 IQR below the 25th percentile, and this means 1 IQR above the 75th percentile. And outside these whiskers, those dots are identified as outliers. However, you have to decide whether they are really outliers or not. For example, if it's about housing prices, there could be a few dots over here that are way above the average price because they are mentions, but however, they only have a few mentioned there, right? So these you could use them as outlier, or you could include them in when you're calculating the data. So this is a box plot, and another way we often use a box plot is to see the to compare the distribution of different groups. As you can see, we can quickly see the gray group here in category 2. Their score is way above the blue group. I'll give another example here. For example, I have group 1, group 2. Their median may be quite different. However, from the box plots here, we can see the box plots are almost at the same level, at the same range. So these two data really doesn't have a significant difference between the two groups. In other words, in this other case, there are two box plots with the same median. However, from the distribution, the range, you can see this box plot is quite above, way above this box plot, and their score, which means that their score is a little bit higher than this group, right? So using box plot, you can easily see the difference between the two groups. Okay. So we explained the how to see the statistics and to interpret the distribution of numeric data. And sometimes there are categorical data like how many females, how many males in the class. What you do is usually to get the frequencies. You want to get the female students, how many are there, and males, how many are there. Or you calculate the mean value of the different groups, right? So here in this assignment, you will be asked to fetch the data and then to plot to get the basic statistics and then plot a histogram of the data. So for the first step, you just print out the data frame, and the second one, you just fetch the column and then get the basic statistics. We already explained very detailed how to use the .iloc function, which means index location, right? Use that function to fetch the column. And this also histogram is also based on one column. So as long as you get the column of the data, you should be able to plot this histogram. And this one, you just use a .value underscore count. Use that function and apply that to the column stroke. So it should be manageable to you, but I encourage you to start early in case you meet some errors and bugs, okay? And if so, you reach out to me in email or just text me very quick. That's all I want to explain for this unit. Just let me know any question and start early on your assignments.